As long as you have students, minority students here and non-minority students there, you are not a part of the true fabric of American society. You're still sitting apart.
There's no voluntary busing for desegregation in the school district of Philadelphia anymore, or any other official efforts to promote desegregated schools.
Philadelphia has a school integration problem. 65 years after the Brown versus Board of Education decision declared segregation a violation of the United States Constitution's 14th Amendment, public schools still remain heavily divided by race. Only 14% of Philadelphia District Public School students are white. According to school district numbers from the 2018 to 19 academic year, 48% of district high school students were either over 75% or under 25% African American. 12 high schools were at least 90% black. It was not supposed to be this way. Chisholm versus Board of Education was supposed to be a Brown versus Board of Education for Philadelphia. Named for the student Anthony Chisholm, the case was organized by the Emlyn Federation of Civic Organizations and the NAACP. Emlyn was for the Emlyn Public School in Mount Airy, a school that had become overcrowded and segregated. Following the lawsuit filed in 1961, the court ordered the district to formulate a plan for desegregating its schools and to submit regular progress reports. However, those efforts came to little. At the same time, white parents continued to simply move their children out of the Philadelphia public school system. Already in 1960, 55% of white children were attending parochial schools. Another important group to take up the fight for desegregation in Philadelphia was the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. The commission filed 11 lawsuits over 40 years to force the district to present and comply with a satisfactory plan to desegregate its schools. One of its signature achievements was the creation of magnet schools that draw students from across the city rather than from neighborhoods which were often segregated themselves. However, these schools often turned out to be as segregated as neighborhood schools. For instance, the Samuel Gompers School in Winfield was designated a magnet with the aim of reaching 31% white enrollment. Instead, in 1971, just 2% of its students were white. Today, Gompers is still 90% African American. There were bright spots, but they dimmed. By 1979, the new Carver High School of Engineering and Science triumphantly enrolled almost 300 freshmen in North Philadelphia, with the number balanced between whites and minorities. Nevertheless, only 2 out of 6 magnet schools established in the 1970s actually fostered integration. At Carver today, 95% of the students are minorities. Constance Clayton became Philadelphia's first African American and first female superintendent in 1982.
I had a lot of respect for Connie Clayton.
There wasn't any desegregation plan before her.
Clayton proposed a plan with clear goals that identified specific schools for desegregation through voluntary busing and additional resources to improve low-achieving, mostly black and Hispanic schools. By 1987, the number of students in desegregated schools had been increased by 55%, and the pace of white flight had slowed. There were 34 newly desegregated schools, and the teaching staff of every school in the city had been integrated. Clayton stepped down from her position in 1993 as the conversation about schools was changing. The focus changed to look at test scores, academic achievement, and school choice. Today, a new kind of public school, the charter school, excites many parents, but these schools have failed to integrate students better than their forebears. According to an Education Law Center report, 83% of Philadelphia's charter schools have a single racial supermajority. Charters are also more likely to be in a white neighborhood and enroll large numbers of white students.
If families are unwilling to take a risk on a school where there's a minority population, it won't happen.
Desegregation benefits everyone. Research shows that test scores go up and achievement gaps close, along with social benefits for all students. The question is, are we willing to make integration a reality?